Kenny Bernstein's Budweiser King Top Fuel Dragster. Who says you need wings to fly?
Won a birdie at number 12, got it to -12. Bob Murphy just birdied that same hole. He's within one. Summerhays a bogey backing up. That's the story here at the Nationwide. Let's go back to Portland. Here's Paul Page again.
That's what it was.
No, you're not. You're back at Portland International. The Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 under a full course yellow now. Al Unser Jr., of course, the leader of the race. Here's what set up that full course yellow. Bryan Herta, Michael Andretti, Jimmy Vasser in line. They move alongside Pruitt.
And Herta has the line, clear and simple. Michael breaks way too late, drop kicks Bryan Herta, had no hope of getting around himself, and Michael was lucky to get away with this. He does make contact with the rear suspension. I don't know whether there's anything damaged.
And gets it back on the course and stays in competition. Now here's the onboard view from Michael.
Here what was happening, he was fishing for gears, couldn't get the gear he wanted. He got the revs he wanted.
So Michael was able to get it back on force and continue on. Now the view from Herta. Boy, thanks for missing the camera, Michael. Now, while that was happening, this was going on. Paul Tracy was making his close at the back of Jack Villeneuve. This is the battle for second place.
We're in traffic.
And boy, take a look at that inside move puts Tracy into second place behind Al Unser Jr. So now slowly they circle the course. Look at all the marbles there on the edge. Jan Vikas?
We've caught up with Chip Ganassi, which of course owns Bryan Herta's car. Did you get to see that on the monitor, or did Bryan say anything?
Well, it's pretty obvious. You know, we saw it on the monitor, Jan, as everyone can see out there. You know, it's obvious some drivers just can't stay out of trouble down in that corner.
Now, Michael drove for you last year, and he had the same problem in the same corner, but unfortunately in your car that year.
Like I said, it's obvious some drivers can't stay out of trouble in that corner.
Thanks, Chip.
We're ready to go back to green flag racing. Herta's car sits off the edge of the course.
And it's not Bryan Herta he's talking about either.
No,
the driver that can't stay out of trouble.
So now back to green flag. As Al Unser Jr. is the leader, Paul Tracy is second, Villeneuve is third, Christian Fittipaldi is fourth, and then Jimmy Vasser. That's Robbie Gordon sitting in there, but he is down one lap.
So Al Unser Jr., who had 17 seconds over the whole field, now loses 12 of that. He's now 5 seconds ahead of the field because of these slower back markers that are in the way.
But
hard to believe we're talking about Robbie Gordon
as a back marker.
As a back marker in this particular race. It shows you how sensitive these cars are to having the right setup.
All right, he lost his time advantage, but did he pick up a fuel advantage?
Oh, he did. We mentioned earlier, he was the first to stop, 2 laps ahead of Tracy and Villeneuve, which meant he probably would have had to have had a splash and go. Now, he may still have to have it, but the yellow flag certainly played into the hands of anybody who had a fuel possibility of having to have a splash and go.
As Al Unser Jr. continues his lead, Emerson Fittipaldi was in and out of the pits. His continuing overheating problem. There you see him joining back in traffic.
Oh, the traffic jam again down to the festival curves here. The slowest corner on the racetrack is 35 miles an hour second gear.
Well, Bryan Herta now has his 7th DNF in 9 races this year, Gary Gerould.
The frustration factor I know has got to be boiling over right now because you have had such a hard time finishing races. What happened?
Well, you know, it's just Target Scotch team's been doing a good job for me all weekend. They put a good car under us for the race, and you know, it's running strong. We're moving up, running steady, and we're going past Pruitt, I think, for a lap, and you know, Michael just misjudged braking and ran right in the back of me. It was really disappointing. It's, you know, not the kind of move you expect from somebody that's you know, won as many races as good a professional driver as he is. I know he just made a bad mistake.
As a young driver trying to come up in this series, Brian, do you find now a situation where you try to talk to him after this race is over about it?
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, you can try and talk to him, but it's not going to help anything. The race is done for me.
Thank you.
And It doesn't help Brian's day, and Michael certainly knows what he did.
You might be able to see that Brian still has that very pronounced limp, a legacy of his terrible crash in Toronto last year. He still has a metal plate and a rod in that right leg, and look at the traffic jam here.
Whoa.
DeFerrin round the outside of Michael. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does.
DeFerrin's not having any of that. He's not going to let him stick down inside there. So Michael Andretti and Gilles DeFerrin battling for 6th place. In fact, that whole group running right together now from Vassar on back. And that means 5th place on back. Al Unser Jr. has 9 seconds in the lead over Paul Tracy. But boy, this is where the battle lies now.
Well, this is a great battle here. Look at that line of cars ahead of Gilles DeFerrin and Michael Andretti there. Some of the back markers, they're in their own race, so they can't pull off the racetrack.
Yeah, but from Jimmy Vassar on back, you're actually talking cars that are in contact with one another and, in fact, fighting for position. Let's go to Gary Gerould.
Paul, you had that terrific replay at the time when Tracy was able to make the pass of Villeneuve. That was so close to the yellow incident involving Michael Andretti and Bryan Herta that there were protests lodged on pit road. IndyCar officials thought for a moment there might be a black flag involved because the pass was made under yellow. They reviewed the situation and said no, the pass was clean. That was certainly welcome news for Paul Tracy.
Boy, take a look at DeFerrin once again as he comes inside of Carlos Guerrero. Now, Michael Andretti tries to get past. He can't do it. Guerrero comes across the front of him, and that ongoing battle continues. This is great.
That move by DeFerrin was as brave as we've seen today because he did it the hard way. He went around the outside of Jimmy Vassar and then down inside Guerrero. What a move by DeFerrin.
Back nose to tail, the entire group once again. Again, cars on the leader lap, mixed in with cars that are a lap down.
Michael gets stuck. Michael's behind lap traffic. He needs to get clear. His battle is with Vassar, not with these two cars who are side by side. 3 abreast down the back straight.
Boy, and Michael gets nailed there. He was looking for an opportunity to get Guerrero. He couldn't do it because Guerrero was coming out and around Bachelor at that time.
Rahal is in the mix. He's in there too. He's not in the fight. He's running 8th. Oh, he is in the fight behind Michael.
Yeah,
Teo Fabi's there.
2 laps ago, Rahal was able to get around Guzman. Now back with Michael. There's that fight up ahead. Michael is 7th.
Something did fly off when these two cars made contact. I couldn't see whether it was something from Michael's car or not, but it certainly hasn't seemed to slow him down. He's a bit slower than the front runners. He is charging as usual. Mario's here, watching what's going on. Mario has lots of tales about his recent Le Mans 24-hour race. What I found incredible is they had 19 hours in the rain trying to win that 24-hour race, and he just came up a little bit short, finishing 2nd.
And still shows that he has it.
Oh, and it can't wait to get back next year to try and add that final chapter to his great career. There he is, 19 hours they had to battle through the rain, and Mario took most of the double stints in that very difficult situation in France.
Mario watches son Michael from the pits, and Michael continues his pursuit. Jimmy Vassar just ahead. Michael tries to move to the inside. They come around Salazar.
Salazar again moves way offline to let the 2 leading cars go by. I can say that he's my former
He's your buddy.
teammate.
Exactly.
We raced together in Formula 1 back in 1980, long time ago.
Long time ago. Running order, top 6.
DeFerrin will talk about that move for a while to come yet, as Vassar will. Jimmy Vassar, of course, survived a monumental crash at Elkhart Lake just last week while testing. At 200 miles an hour, Vassar had a rear tire explode and literally left the racetrack and turned upside down in one of Chip Ganassi's cars and had to go by lifeline helicopter to Milwaukee. Had no injuries, in fact, hardly affected him at all this weekend.
So Al Unser Jr. continues his lead in the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200. Second place is Tracy, and then Jack Villeneuve.
You have to see it to believe it. Automania, Antelope Valley's home of automobilia. What's automobilia? Everything and anything to do with cars. Remember Hot Wheels? Automania's got them. Plus posters, die-casts, T-shirts and hats. NASCAR, Indy, Formula One, everything for racing fans, plus plenty for cruisers. All the cool stuff they love. Test your skill on Automania's computerized slot car track. Open Monday through Saturday. If you're crazy about cars and racing, then you'll be in the winner's circle at Automania. 50th Street West and M and Quartz Hill. Automania.
Need new tires in a hurry? At America's Tire Company, we move fast. Except when it comes to closing our doors. Slide in for a new set of Michelins at America's Tire Company.
7 strikeouts so far tonight, looking for number 8. And he gets it.
You see this kid, Norma? Do you know that the people in Japan get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch this guy pitch for the Dodgers?
Yeah, I know.
And you'd think, with all the high-tech stuff that they make, they'd just tape these games.
Are you kidding me? I don't even think those guys can figure out how to program a VCR.
I got mine a year and a half, and I still don't know what I'm doing.
Is yours blinking?
Blink, blink, blink.
I got a headache. I can't watch that.
ESPN's coverage of the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 is brought to you today by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. And by PPG, world leaders in automotive finishes, sponsors of the PPG IndyCar World Series. 61 laps complete. Al Unser Jr., the leader. You ride with second place, Paul Tracy. The leaders have been turning laps at 111 to 113 miles an hour. Michael Andretti still doing everything he can to worry Jimmy Vasser. In this case, though, he has to be very careful as he comes around Andre Ribeiro. Ribeiro is running in 19th place, a lap down and not part of the fight. But boy, very much, Vasser and Andretti are locked in battle, and it's a fight for 6th.
And it is a great fight. There's the tight shot of the nose. You can see that the center of the nose made contact with Brian Herta's car. And luckily,
everything else is intact.
It looks as if it is fully intact. So Michael should have no handling change on that car. And obviously with the speed he's running chasing down Vasser, he doesn't seem to be any slower than he was earlier in the race.
Even with the yellow, we continue to run at a record pace, 107.8 miles an hour. The race record set by Al Unser last year. Al Unser Jr., 107.7. Let's go pit side, Gary Gerald.
Well, we told you about the fact that Paul Tracy's got tonsillitis and is really battling the elements here in the cockpit today. He has said virtually nothing on the radio except just a few moments ago he told the crew that he wants something to drink. He never takes fluid during the course of the race under normal circumstances, but that throat's given him a lot of discomfort. So when he makes his second and expected final stop, he'll take on some fluid then. We also have a report, Paul, that Tracy thinks Sullivan may be blocking him on the racetrack. Paul?
Eddie Cheever out of the car. Race is over. Driving for A.J. Foyt. Up, and we've got problems back in the carousel, or the festival turns again. Carlos Guerrero.
Teo Fabi, it looks like.
Yep, and so it is. Boy, that's too bad.
Teo, who went so well on Friday here. Robin Hurd, his engineer, was here, had him running in the top 3. Robin left, and Lee Dykstra took over the setup of this car. Good, new, young team here, run by Tony Brunelli, but Teo Fabi losing a lot of time and brings out the double yellow.
So we go to our second full-course yellow of the day in the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200.
In Alaska, we need a tough truck.
Didi Genro, legendary Iditarod racer.
To get ready for a 1,000-mile dog sled race, there are 2 things I count on. My dogs, this is Maverick, which I pamper, and my Ford F-Series, which I don't. I appreciate a truck that provides dependable, tough performance, and my F-Series has never growled once.
Ford F-Series, from the ultimate dog race to the fast-paced human race.